I was raised in a very serious Christian family, and I was reciting Bible verses by the time I was 4, and when I was 8 years old, the Lutheran Church offered me a university scholarship if I would promise to be a Lutheran minister. My mother, though so religious, thought I was a bit young to make such a promise. I began contacting other religions in my schooling in New York City because my mother made sure that I went to schools with high amounts of Jewish students because she knew there the best education would be. And so I took an interest in Judaism. I also remember at 8 years old wondering why couldn't I have been born at a time when there was a great spiritual leader on the planet? Jesus, Mohammed, Moses, someone. I was giving sermons in the Presbyterian Church when I was 12. But then a very sophisticated material education at the finest prep schools in New England led me astray, you might say. I became an agnostic. I remember as a young teenager, my first year going to prep school in New Hampshire. I was riding my bicycle through the mountains in the autumn, just admiring the beautiful scenery and thinking, this is proof of God. This is proof of God's existence. Just 2 years later, when a visiting minister came to our school, because it was a Episcopalian influenced school, the visiting minister said, just look at the beauty of the mountains, the sky, nature. This shows there's a God. And my friends and I just laughed. How unscientific. When I was 16, however, I heard a still legendary recording by a legendary jazz artist, John Coltrane, called A Love Supreme, in which he declared that love of God's the ultimate goal of life, and he wasn't going to play music anymore for ordinary, mundane purposes. So that jolted me. What is this love supreme? And then he made some recordings in which he chanted verses from Bhagavad Gita. And that really intrigued me. What is this? At that point, I decided I must find this love supreme. I don't know where. I don't know how. I was aware of Christianity, being a good Bible student. I was aware of Judaism due to my school friends. I don't know so much about Islam, at least as much as I do about Christianity and Judaism. One thing I can say is that there's bhakti in all religions. Naturally, if we want love, then we want the greatest information about the beloved. So that thirst for the greatest information about the beloved led me to Bhagavad Gita, knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. If there is God, then let us get the greatest source of information about him so that our love can be so dynamic and so all-encompassing. Therefore, there's no question of putting down other religions. We should understand the fundamental quest of all religions. If we can get the most information, the most precise spiritual technology, that's to our advantage. Just like if we get the best education, they'll have the best preparation for life. I quickly realized it's not a question of this spiritual path being right and that spiritual path being wrong. We're simply dealing with comprehensiveness and depth. I would present the situation in that way to any inquirer. Ecumenical with an emphasis on depth and comprehensiveness, not an emphasis on rightness or wrongness.